Hi, Jim. This is Tim in Salt Lake City. My question for you today is, what do you think about buying a home without a realtor? I'm trying to understand the value they add. It seems like I could do the negotiation. I could find a house on Zillow. I could have a real estate attorney go over any paperwork. I could obviously get an inspection done. So 3% buyer agent fee, 3% seller agent fee. Seems like that could potentially be a lot of money saved by doing it yourself. So what do you think? Is buying a house something that's amenable to doing it yourself, like investing is? Thanks.
All right. Can it be done? Yeah, it certainly can be done. I've bought a house without a realtor before. I just used a real estate attorney to look over the contract and help me make sure I had all the I's dotted and T's crossed. Would I have been better off with a realtor? I think I may have been in that situation. Um, the interesting thing when you buy is the realtor is technically paid by the seller, right? The actual thing they do is they generally collect a 5 or 6% commission, and then they split it between the two realtors. So the only reason you would ever consider not having a realtor when you come to buy is if for some reason the seller will reduce the selling price by 3%. If they're not doing that, well, it's their expense, not yours. So unless you're getting a pretty significant discount for it, I wouldn't necessarily do that. I'd get a realtor and just have somebody helping you out. Why not? I think a realtor is a little bit more useful when you're looking at a lot of houses, right? If you want to look at 25 or 30 houses like we did before we bought this place, I think that realtor is a little more useful. They're certainly doing a lot more work to earn their commission. But there's no doubt that the realtor industry is ripe for disruption. I mean, that's a lot of money. You take a $1 million house, a 6% commission, 60 grand, right? It's a lot of money. And so you can see why people are trying to disrupt that with varying levels of success, right? There's these online companies, et cetera, et cetera. And these have been around for a long time that, they'll not do much other than put your listing up on the MLS and maybe send you a little cheap sign to put in the yard. That might be all they'll do. But they charge you dramatically less than 6%. Likewise, now that you're local to Salt Lake City, you've seen all the billboards up for Homey. Homey is this company that's basically trying to disrupt this industry. And I don't know how successful they're being, but I think they're having a significant amount of success at doing so. And I'm sure they'll have competitors as things go along. So I think this industry is going to see lower commissions over time, but it's been remarkably resistant to that. And the reason why is because people tend to only buy or sell a house, 2 or 3 times during their lifetimes. So it's not something they're doing all the time. Like with do-it-yourself investing, you can kind of wade in early in your life when the transactions are only $1,000 and it's no big deal. If you screw something up a little bit, you can fix it. Well, that's not the case when you only do something twice in your life, right? Imagine that your investing only happened twice in your life and you had to put $1.5 million in each time, right? Are you going to hire a pro to walk you through that process? You're far more likely to than if you're investing every month for 30 years and got a chance to start when there just wasn't very much money on the line, So I think it's a little bit different in that respect. And that you can certainly, benefit from having a realtor on your side. Now, you don't want one of these part-time realtors, though. If you're going to hire a realtor, get a really good one. In fact, if you're buying, you might want to consider what I did when I bought this house. I found a realtor that specialized on the buy side. All they did was buy. They didn't do any selling. And I think they were, maybe a little bit better at negotiating for a buyer, certainly had more experience on the buy side. And so I think there were some benefits to that. But if you're interested in that, I know a great person in Salt Lake City. So shoot me an email, Tim, and I'll send you over to him. But for the most part, I think it's probably most people are in this day and age probably still want a realtor, both on the buy side and the sell side. But it's not crazy to not use one. Just realize that if you're going to do it, you got to do it well. Just like if you're going to be your own do-it-yourself investor, you got to do it as well as you would do it if you had an advisor. It doesn't do any good to save the advisory fee and then do a piss poor job of doing it such that you lose more than the advisor would have cost in the first place. And it's the same thing with a realtor. If you screw it up enough, you would have been better off just paying the realtor. If you want your questions answered by the White Coat Investor, record your question at whitecoatinvestor.com/YQA or click the link in the description.
My dad, your host, Dr. Dahl is a practicing emergency physician, blogger, author, and podcaster. He is not a licensed accountant, attorney, or financial advisor, so this podcast is for your entertainment and information only and should not be considered official, personalized financial advice.